Hello dear students, in this session let us prove some of the theorems in measurable functions. Here is one of the theorem. Let E be a measurable set with measure of E is less than infinity and Fn a sequence of measurable functions defined on measurable set E. So let f be a measurable function such that Fn of x converges to f of x for each value of x belongs to E. Then given epsilon greater than 0 and delta greater than 0, there is a measurable set A subset of E with measure of A less than delta and an integer n such that mod fn of x minus f of x is less than epsilon for all x belongs to E minus A and all n is greater than or equal to n. This is the statement of the theorem. So they have given that E is a measurable set with measure of E is less than infinity and Fn is a sequence of measurable functions. Also they have given f is a measurable function such that Fn of x converges to f of x for each x belongs to E. Then if this is the case, then epsilon greater than 0, there exists epsilon greater than 0 and delta greater than 0. There is a measurable set A which is subset of your measurable set E with measure of A is less than delta and an integer n such that mod fn of x minus f of x less than epsilon where x is belongs to E minus A. This part is what we are supposed to prove. For that what I have done is, initially I have considered one set such that Gn is my set. I have defined Gn like x such that x belongs to E. Modulus of fn of x minus f of x is greater than or equal to epsilon. We have to prove this is less than epsilon, but I am defining my set in this way. So they have given fn and f are measurable functions. Fn and f are measurable function means Gn is also measurable. So now let's define a set Ek such that this Ek contains for all the values of n. If you define a set Gn, all those value will be in Ek. That means union of n is equal to k to infinity Gn. Okay. That means x such that x belongs to Gn. Now x belongs to Gn. We are defining for overall set for some n greater than or equal to k. So x belongs to Gn means x belongs to E mod fn of x minus f of x is greater than or equal to epsilon for some n greater than or equal to k. So this is your Ek, correct? So obviously Ek plus 1 will be the subset of Ek for each x belongs to E. That means there must be some set Ek such that in that Ek x does not belong to Ek. On contradiction, I will assume that x belongs to Ek. Okay. So x belongs to Ek means for some fixed value of k, we must have modulus fn of x minus f of x is greater than or equal to epsilon for some n greater than or equal to k. If this happens, since x does not belongs to Ek, fn of x does not converges to f of x. That means Ek is decreasing sequence. Okay. Ek is decreasing sequence means for what values of Ek? If you take intersection k is equal to 1 to infinity Ek, this will be equal to null. That means if you consider a contradiction, that is x belongs to Ek, your fn of x does not converges to f of x. That means your Ek is a decreasing sequence of measurable set for which decreasing sequence means for all those value, if you consider the intersection, it will be null. That means your Ek is a disjoint collection, correct? Now we have Ek is a decreasing sequence of measurable sets. So we have seen a theorem, if Ek is a decreasing sequence of measurable set and let measure of Ei is less than infinity, then you can express that as measure of intersection I is equal to infinity Ei is equal to limit n tends to infinity measure of En. So if you take measure of intersection k is equal to 1 to infinity ek, you will get the value 0, correct? Since it is a disjoint collection, you will get a 0. That means limit n tends to infinity measure of En is equal to 0. So given delta greater than 0, there exists an integer n such that if you take measure of ek, it is less than delta for some k greater than or equal to n. So this is in general. If you consider a particular case for k is greater than or equal to n, measure of En is less than delta. So we know En means this is my ek, correct? So if I choose for En, you will get measure of x such that x belongs to E, modulus of fn of x minus f of x is greater than or equal to epsilon for some n greater than or equal to n. This whole term is less than delta. So now choose En is equal to A. If you choose En is equal to A, what will happen here? This measure of En become measure of A. This is less than delta, and this is for En, correct? This set is for En. So if you choose E minus A, that means E minus A is something which is not there in A. So in A it is greater than or equal to epsilon. So obviously here it is less than epsilon. If you define E minus A, x is such that x belongs to E, modulus of fn of x minus f of x is less than epsilon. In other words, you can write this as modulus of fn of x minus f of x is less than epsilon for n for all values of n, and your x belongs to E minus A. So this is what we are supposed to prove. This theorem is actually modification of this theorem. Let E be a measurable set with measure of E less than infinity. Okay, and Fn a sequence of measurable function converging almost everywhere to a real valued function f defined on E. Then given epsilon greater than 0 and delta greater than 0, there is a set A subset of E with measure of A less than delta and an integer n such that modulus of fn of x minus f of x is less than epsilon for all x belongs to E minus A and all n greater than or equal to n. So here what we are doing is we are choosing a set of points f of E for fn does not converge to f. For this case we are choosing a set of points f of E. That means measure of f is 0. Measure of f is 0 means fn of x converges to f of x for what value? If x belongs to f, fn does not converges to f. If fn of x converging to f of x means x belongs to E minus f. I am choosing E minus f as E1. Okay. So now apply the above theorem now. So if you apply the above theorem, there it was A subset of E. Here we get some set A1 which is subset of E1 with measure of A1 is less than delta and an integer n such that modulus of fn of x minus f of x is less than epsilon for all values of n, and here x belongs to E1 minus A1. Okay. So that means the result now follows. If I choose A is equal to A1 union F, since measure of F is 0, what you will get? E minus A is equal to E1 minus A1. In this theorem, actually they have not given that converging almost everywhere, correct? So this is the modification. From above theorem, the modification is converging almost everywhere point. So converging almost everywhere means what we will take? We will say the property does not hold, correct, for the definition of almost everywhere. That's why we have chosen Fn does not converges to F. That means measure of F is 0, or outer measure of F is 0. And since F is E1 minus A1, you can express A is equal to A1 union F. Okay. So this is all about this theorem. The next theorem is Egorov theorem. Let E be a measurable set with measure of E less than infinity and Fn a sequence of measurable function which converge to F almost everywhere on E. Then given eta greater than 0, there is a set A subset of E with measure of A less than eta such that the sequence Fn converges to F uniformly on E minus A. So converging almost everywhere. This is, you can observe this theorem. This is almost equal to this theorem, that is modification theorem. Okay. So from that theorem, I will choose epsilon is equal to 1 and delta value as eta by 2. So now, from the above theorem, we get a measurable set A1, that is subset of E with measure of A1 is less than delta and a positive integer n such that I am applying the above theorem, that's it. So modulus of Fn of x minus f of x is less than epsilon. We are choosing the value epsilon as 1 and x belongs to E1. E1 is nothing but E minus A1. Okay. So now let's take another value. I am taking epsilon is equal to half and delta is equal to eta by 2 square. So similarly, if you apply that theorem, you will get mod Fn of x minus f of x is less than 1 by 2 and x belongs to E2 here. E2 is nothing but E minus A2. So if you continue this process, what you will get at nth stage, your An will be subset of En minus 1 with measure of An is less than delta and a positive integer n. So modulus of Fn of x minus f of x will be less than 1 over n for all n greater than or equal to nn. Correct. Now, since A is subset of E and we are choosing different A's, set A is equal to union of n is equal to 1 to infinity an. So if you take measure of this, you will get measure of A. For this, you will apply countable subadditive property. So measure of A is less than or equal to summation n is equal to 1 to infinity measure of an. So this term will be less than summation n is equal to 1 to infinity eta by 2 power n. So you can write this as eta into 1 over 2 power n. Using geometrical progression, you will get eta. Okay. So now choose E minus A. So E minus union n an. You can write E minus union n an as intersection n en because I will choose n is equal to 2. So E minus union n is equal to 1 to 2 an. You can write this as E minus A1 union A2. This is nothing but E2. Okay. So similarly, if you choose intersection E minus AK, so this is nothing but E minus A1 intersection E minus A2. So that means this is E1 intersection E2. So you can write this as intersection k is equal to or n is equal to 1 to 2 en, correct? That means you can write E minus union n an as intersection n en. So now if x belongs to E minus A means x belongs to En also for all n and modulus fn of x minus f of x is less than 1 over n for all n greater than or equal to n. So now let's choose value for n such that 1 over n should be less than epsilon. That means modulus of fn of x minus f of x is less than epsilon and x belongs to e minus a for all values of n. So this is what we are supposed to prove, correct? Fn converges to f uniformly on e minus a. The last theorem is Frechet theorem. The statement is, let f be a measurable function defined on E, then there exists a sequence Gn of continuous function on R such that Gn converges to f almost everywhere on E. So here I have, this is one of the theorem. You can go through the textbook, you will get a proof also. So if f be a measurable function defined on E, then for each epsilon greater than 0, there exists a continuous function g defined on R such that measure of x belongs to E, where f of x is not equal to g of x is less than epsilon. Further, if f of x is bounded, then g may be chosen so that g of x is also bounded. Okay, this is the theorem we will use here. So for each n, there exists a continuous function, correct? Gn, such that if you choose a set an is equal to x belongs to E, f of x not equal to gn of x, this has a measure. Here it is epsilon, so here we are choosing the value 2 power minus n. So for each n means you have to take union, n is equal to m to infinity an. So if you take measure of this is using countable subadditivity property. So this will be less than, measure of an is 2 power minus n. If you expand the summation, you will get 2 power 1 minus m. Okay, so now define a set A is equal to intersection m is equal to 1 to infinity, union n is equal to m to infinity an. So A is a measurable set and its measure is given by this. Okay. As m tends to infinity, this whole thing takes the value 0. Now let's choose another set x belongs to E intersection A complement. So E intersection A complement means your x does not belongs to A. Correct? That means if I substitute the value of A, let's choose some other P, point P. So x does not belong to union n is equal to P to infinity an for some P. Okay. That means x does not belongs to an for all n greater than or equal to P. So this verifies that your Gn of x is equal to f of x. From this set, f of x is not equal to Gn of x for x belongs to E, correct? So here, and A is subset of E. Since x does not belongs to A, you can write f of x is equal to Gn of x. If x belongs to an, this condition holds. Since x does not belongs to an, f of x will be equal to Gn of x. Now if you take limit to this, limit n tends to infinity, Gn of x is equal to f of x when x belongs to E intersection A complement, or when x does not belongs to an. They have given Gn converges to f almost everywhere, correct? So if we are proving Gn of x is equal to f of x, then we should show that measure of that is equal to 0. Measure of E intersection A complement we have chosen, correct? This should be equal to 0. That means, so if you take measure of A complement intersection E, this will be equal to measure of E itself, Why? Because from this you can already see that measure of A is 0. So you will get measure of E itself. Hence the proof. So why we have used this theorem is because here they have given if f is a measurable function defined on E, then there exists a sequence Gn of continuous function. So using this theorem, you can directly use this. You can consider this set and you can prove further part easily. Thank you.